Hello and welcome to today's fair live stream. Today we're here with Sarah. Wrong side. We're with Sarah, who's
Hi.
our head of HR and also the head of brand team. So do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, as Allison said, I'm Sarah. I'm heading the HR team and now the brand team as well. Within FAIR, I'm studying marketing and management currently at the University of Exeter. This is my final year, so it's super busy currently. But apart from that, I have some fun things that I like to do. Most of them include coffee. I love coffee. I'm a huge coffee lover. I'm also a Christmas lover, as you can see. And yeah, so that's roughly about me.
All right. Well, in the last live stream, we had the HR team kind of take part in that. You're of course kind of heading them off. So we had a big discussion on is the pumpkin a fox or I don't remember what else it would have been because it was just a fox. So let's get the official opinion from the head of the team. Was it a fox?
Okay. The official opinion from the head of the team is that it was a cat.
All
However,
right, got it. It
food
was a fox.
that
Understood.
Kimberly, who actually carved the pumpkin, claims it's a fox, which is very, very, very not Halloweeny at all. But cats are Halloweeny, and it looked much more like a cat. So let's just conclude it was a cat, no matter what Kimberly, who actually carved it, said.
Strongly disagree, but all right, let's jump into it now. So, of course, as you know, the head of HR, you're quite involved in trying to setting the fair culture. And previously, you've talked about that we actually have an advisor who's really helping us a lot with trying to kind of set out that culture, make it, define it more clearly. So, what is fair's culture to you? What about it is particularly that you consider kind of important, and what is something that someone might overlook when they're kind of looking at fair from the outside?
Okay, so for me, what's the most important thing what I've been really trying to achieve here throughout my whole stay is having a people-centric culture. We are an online business. We are a business who is even once we provide start providing everything we are planning on doing, it's going to be an online product. So we have no production of the real material from real materials as such. We obviously have the development team and things. However, when you really think about it, everything we do here is dependent on the quality and happiness of the people we have. Therefore, having a culture that is very, very people centric and allows for people to learn, to make mistakes, to get to know one another, to enjoy their time, not just work all the time and things like that, it's very, very crucial. I'm also a very, very strong believer in diversity because I just believe that people from different countries or cultures or even families have different perspectives and different ideas, so we can bring more of the opposing views, discuss them, and kind of get the innovation going better if we have people who are just super diverse. So those are the most important thing for me, is the well-being of our employees, of our team, and the diversity of the team.
Hmm. So that sounds great as direction. We've crafted it together with some other people as well. But of course, every business says how great it is. But what would you say is kind of the biggest flaw in Fair's culture that you've kind of seen so far that we might be trying to fix, might just be
Okay,
something we
the
can't
biggest flaw
fix?
I currently think that we have and need to kind of battle is that the diversity we have brings very, very different personalities in, and some personalities are stronger than the other. So, for example, when we have some social events or anything like that, we have half the people who are like super enthusiastic and talk a lot, and the other half of people doesn't want to talk in front of that many people, or isn't maybe a strong opinionated or something like that, and just doesn't feel the need of speaking up, which means we never get to know them as much as we get to know the loud ones like me. So I feel like the biggest problem that we are currently facing within culture, and the biggest thing that I feel like needs to be addressed, is having space for the people who are maybe not comfortable when speaking in front of that many others, but yet somehow getting to know them on a personal level throughout the team. We obviously have one-on-ones, which is good for the manager to get to know with the team and like a few people, but then we don't have one-on-ones in between like team members, for example, or things like that, So not off some people might just not know each other because they just don't feel comfortable enough to speak up, and that's, I think, the biggest issue.
So, you came into kind of eventually kind of running the HR team from, a fair from kind of very early on. So, what was your experience before that?
Oh, well, before that, I have a very diverse experience, but the most related one I'd say is Deloitte Czech Republic. I worked with them for, I think it was 8 months. I worked for their PR department, but I was mostly responsible. We were very, very independent team, the most independent team out of the all of the ones that there are in the Czech Republic. So apart from deciding on what do we think is the best idea to do next, so the marketing and things, we also decided that we wanted to do our HR by ourselves. What this meant is basically we, because normally within HR, within Deloitte, HR team is the one that hires people, resolves conflicts and things like that, which is great. However, for us, as we were very unorthodox, it just didn't work out very well. So I was an in-house HR member for our team. So I was doing the recruitment. I also kind of worked with the team, different teams within the one bigger sub team and things like that. So that's like the biggest HR experience. And something else that I would like to mention is, although might sound a little weird at the beginning, I feel like is me working in a preschool with little kids. This seems like it's very distant from HR, but it really, really, really isn't. The thing is that the little kids really show you the emotions and what they are thinking in a very, very pure manner, and it's very easy to recognize. It's not so easy to recognize with adults. However, if you work with the kids and learn to recognize the small things that they don't and how they show their likes and dislikes or whatever emotions they currently have, the the way you show them stays with you until you're an adult. You just kind of mute it down a lot, so you don't throw a tantrum, but you can still see people being annoyed with something or things like that. So I feel like the work with children really helped me to recognize the early on signs of emotions, even if they are muted. So then when I work with adults, it's a lot easier for me to kind of sense the atmosphere or know what to expect from the person on the other side of the call.
hmm So, you went from a very kind of, Deloitte is a very large company with a lot of structure to suddenly being kind of at a startup where it was kind of like, there you go, figure it out approach. So, how's that transition, trying to figure everything out,
Uh,
going from where
first
you were
of
used to
all,
having a lot of structure?
First of all, it was a huge shock, huge change, because whenever I wanted to do something with HR or shift something, do any change or anything like that within Deloitte, although possible, it was a process. It was a thing to be approved, thing to be discussed, thing to be. It was a long process. Within Fair, when I had an idea, it was basically just like, "Hey, Allison, what do you think of this?" And then he was like, "Hmm, fair, try it out." And that was it. And they just went on, and no one would really like bothered me with it. Like, no one was annoyed if it didn't work or anything like that. So that's quite a good thing. I also feel like when people come from big corporations into a smaller startup, they need a little bit more of reassurance, not so much direction, but reassurance that it's okay that you do that. At the very beginning, when I had any change ideas or anything like that, I was kind of, I don't want to say worried to bring it up, but I felt like this is completely out of like anything that we've been doing so far. It's not even like my, even it might have been even like outside of HR or the brand team. It might have been an idea for the dev team or something like that. So completely out of my competence whatsoever. And I kind of felt like I shouldn't be bringing this up. It's not my, like, I have nothing to do with this. But then over time, I kind of learned when Allison was like really happy with my ideas and reassuring that I'm doing good and it's okay that I do this. I kind of gained the confidence, and now I kind of do the decisions just by myself, and it's fine. It's never a problem. But before, I was kind of stressed to make the decision without having like tons of approval from everyone around.
Well, it's good to hear that that's working for you a lot. So I was kind of wondering, when you kind of say those kind of transitions of startups are a lot more kind of dynamic, and it's like, oh, you have a cool idea, go for it, and that's present in a lot of startups. Uh, you now run two different teams, and what has been your approach to kind of trying to encourage the same thing within your own teams?
Oh, okay. So basically, what I try to do with both of the teams is when we have a new member or when we start a new team, we I kind of try to give a lot of direction within the first 2 weeks to show them like what we kind of do and how we do it. But then after that, I believe in the people. I hired them myself, all of them. Every single person on my team was picked by me. And I wouldn't I cherry pick. I pick the best out of the best. And then the important thing is just to show that you believe in the people and give them the trust and power. So when there is a task that needs to be done, I like to just put it out there and see who kind of wants to do it, not like assigning the task, but having people who like it do it. And then I just trust them in the way they do it. And I try to not micromanage or jump in too much. I'm obviously there for any support and encouragement if they need it, but I try not to jump in too much. And then the second most important thing is really show them that they are doing a good job. So really thank them for whatever they've done, tell them even if you have negative comments, point out the good things that they've done because there's always good things. Those people we have are great, they are amazing. So even if there needs to be something changed, the majority of what they've done is great, and it's very important that you say that out loud, like this is great, this is very good, I have just one tiny change, but remember that it's great and good. So then they kind of feel encouraged to try out more, and maybe sometimes it doesn't work out and sometimes it does, but they have the encouragement to go and try it out themselves. This is also part of the fact that we have a learning culture here at fair, so we allow for the mistakes and we allow for the people on the time on our teams to take the time to learn things. So if there is something that you would like to try, for example, one of our marketeers within the brand team or social media marketeers wanted to try and design things themselves, but they had no previous design expertise or experience whatsoever, but they felt like they could do it. And so I just gave them out the credentials for our Canva account, and they took the time to allow them to try and see what Canva can do and design things themselves. So then I can see how they did. And I think it's very important to allow for those kind of things because sometimes people don't know what hidden talents they have, but they really, really do have them.
So you mentioned kind of a lot of freedom, and we've had some people mention that they're very surprised by when they jumped into it, that they were like, "Here, I trust you to handle this, and let's see how you do it." And then you sometimes talk to people, for example, outside of fair that I've spoken to are very much like that freedom can kind of be like you feel like you're sinking sometimes. Uh, what is do you find that there's the right balance, or is it very much like give the freedom and then try to help people figure it out, or what is kind of your view on it?
Well, the way I see it is have a chance to give them the freedom first. So when there is a task, you try, unless it's like super time pressing task, you give them the time to try and figure out it themselves. Obviously, it's important to give them support and help them with some knowledge if you can, but give them the trust that they are able to do it themselves. However, what we try to do also is review things within the team. So, for example, within the HR team, we with many, not with all, but with many our recruitment of many positions within our recruitment, what we do is we have 2 rounds of interviews. So we give the freedom to the person who is heading the recruitment run to pick the best CVs to have the first round of interviews, and then we have like an approval interview to make sure that actually this is the right choice. This allows him this allows both of the people within the HR team to make their own decision, but it do not fail with it, which is great. And similarly within the brand team, we, for example, when we are doing a post, I give the freedom to people to create whatever they want, however they want. But then I bring it up on our weekly team meeting and show it to the rest of the team and see if anyone has any comments on it or whether we see a way of improving it. That way, the people can decide on how to approach the things that they are doing and have enough freedom to actually decide things themselves, which gives them a lot of good energy and also good positive ideas, but not to fail so it would like really bring Fair down, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
So you mentioned the brand team, so let's kind of move on to them. The brand team has been kind of going through restructure now that they're, now the positions are filled and it's back. What do people have to look forward to from the brand team?
There's tons of things that we've started working on. The first smaller thing, but we are entering the festive period currently. So you can expect the festive logo from Fair. You can expect a lot of festive posts. And we just want to bring the festive mood to our social media as well. However, following that, a bigger project that we have in mind is we want to redo or redesign a bit our website. We feel like it's great, but we feel like as we grow, the website should grow with us a little bit. So that's a big thing that we are really looking forward to do and really start discussing. Apart from that, we are really trying to make our social media, specifically Instagram and LinkedIn, and for the content team, Twitter, but that's not within the brand team, alive. So we are trying to reply to comments faster currently, reply to messages, and make sure that all of these kind of things work as they should. And we are more present on the social media. That's our biggest goal for the next few months, to make sure that we are really, really, really present and really out there. Apart from that, we are also looking forward a big campaign with our education platform when it would be out, and yeah, those kind of things.
Mhm.
Quite a lot of things in our plate currently.
So with startups, a lot of people talk about, that in your first startup you focus too much on the product, in your second startup you focus too much on the marketing. How do you kind of view that balance there? The balance between heavy focus on making the best product possible and the heavy focus on marketing, since there's obviously some kind of a middle line, which is right.
I think for us, the really good thing is the fair is built basically by the employees. So we do have a structure and we have a lead of every single team. That means the lead of the team works very hard on the part that they've been assigned to. So, where I am not the developer, I don't know how to do it whatsoever. Therefore, I don't have much to say about the product because I just don't have the skills to do anything about it. But I'm heavily focused on marketing. On the other hand, we have two development lead and obviously you who's heading the development team as a whole, and you guys are very very development centric, so you spend a lot of time trying to figure out the best way of making this work and making the product the best version it can be. So I feel like what's very very good with Fair is that the managers have enough power to really invest their time and decisions and everything into what they are doing. Therefore, we have quite a strong both sides of it because we have people who are super interested in doing both sides of it, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I feel like that's the way of achieving the right balance. Simply having people who are excited to do each thing and having giving them the power to do it themselves.
All right, all right. Well, last question that's brand related. Down there, you can of course see our social media. One of them is TikTok. What's going on with TikTok?
You really don't like me, do you? Okay, TikTok is a social media that's relatively new and doesn't work well with our plans within the marketing structure. Mostly because we don't have people who have the ideas for TikTok. We have very strong brand team who are very strong in making the Instagram, not the reels. I know Instagram reels, but our Instagram look very well. We have people who spend a lot of time trying to dig into LinkedIn and how to make our social media on there as strong as possible. However, we don't have much interest in within our team in TikTok. That, however, might be my fault. I'm not. I might take the blame for that one because I was the one to build the brand team up, and also because I don't like TikTok. Um, I feel like TikTok has a huge boom currently. I'm very much aware of that, but they predict it to just go downhill from here. Like for example, outside of UK, Snapchat did.
Yeah,
It's
but a
it's
lot of people.
a
Yeah, go
huge
on.
boom, but it's gonna die, and we don't want to die with it.
Well, people have been predicting the fail of Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and Snapchat for years and years and years. We haven't really seen that. So, what
We've
makes you
seen
think it's going to be
Snapchat
TikTok?
fail, and we never predicted Instagram. We like Instagram, which is why we try to market there heavily. But
All right.
but that being said, we are currently working on a TikTok that's gonna be published sometime around Christmas. So although we don't have so much of an interest, and the other thing that's very important to say is that we have a lot of social media and we don't have that many people. So it would be impossible for us to keep all of the social media really, really, really busy. So instead of having half busy all of our social media, we have really decided to concentrate heavily on Instagram and LinkedIn, which is why TikTok is left behind a little bit. However, again, with that being said, we will have an Instagram reel and a TikTok published around Christmas, which is going to be fun and exciting.
All right. All right. Well, moving away from the company and your work past, let's talk about coffee.
Let's. I always want to talk about coffee.
So you are a little obsessed with coffee, one could say. Having how many coffee machines do you have in total at this point?
Uh, 5,
5 coffee machines. How
but
many
not in one place, not
of
even in
course.
one country.
Hmm. So,
I have
what got you into coffee?
Well, the biggest thing for me, as I already said, and it was mentioned on the post about me as well, is I think my family is in the gastro business. So we were all, everyone from my family is all about some part of it, either the cooking or the bar or something, whatever. My dad is a lot about beer. He even brews his own beer, things like that. So although I didn't really ever want to, it was inevitable that I was going to find my passion within the gastro business myself. And when I was younger, or maybe even a kid, young, my dad was traveling a lot, quite a lot for work. But whenever he was in Slovakia, which is where I'm from, with me, we would go to this small tiny bookshop where they had amazing coffee. I loved it as a kid. Yeah, don't quote me on that one. My mom really had a lot of fights with my dad for buying me coffee when I was that young because apparently it's not that healthy, but happened. So basically, we were always going there, and we would spend hours looking through the books, trying to figure out which one's the best ones for us to buy. And while doing that, we also drank coffee. Mine was decaf, and then as I got a little bit older, it was no longer decaf. But don't tell my mom. So that's probably something that like the coffee always reminds me of the nice time spent with my dad. And now that I live in a different country than he does, we are obviously still have great relationship, but we are not together all the time. So I feel like that's a little bit where when it started, where I had nice experience and nice connection with it. And then as I grew older, I have an older brother who had a girlfriend who drank tons of coffee, and I was always with her. We were going around, and she always just had a coffee with her, and I just get kind of got used to it, and it just all came together, and that now we are here with 5 coffee machines. But it's
Mhm.
important to mention that like the coffee machine is not the only way to brew the coffee. So although I have 5 coffee machines, I have other gadgets that help me brew the coffee in different ways.
All right. In that case, let me rephrase my original questions. How many different gadgets to help you brew coffee do you have? Is it A,
Yeah, I don't know.
more than 5,
Yeah,
B, more
definitely.
than 10,
Yeah,
C, more
definitely.
than 20, D, more than 50?
Well, I have 5 coffee machine.
Hmm.
I have quite a few things for French press. I have AeroPress. I have, yeah, I don't know.
A
A lot,
lot. Got
a lot. Like,
it.
it's not too much. It's not like unreasonably much for a coffee lover.
I think if you have 5 coffee machines, some people would disagree. That's a
But
bit of a luxury.
it is a bit of luxury, of course it is. But everyone likes something and they have a bit more of it, don't they? And also, you need to remember that they live in three different countries.
So what happened there? Why do you live in 3 different countries?
Oh, yeah, that's kind of confusing. I'm originally from Slovakia. When I was 14, I think, my dad got the job offer saying that he could go to the Czech Republic for a year and a half, and then he would get a promotion back in Slovakia. That kind of thing. I don't remember exactly what the terms were, but those kind of things. And we felt like it's quite interesting, quite fun, and that I could go with him for a year to Czech Republic, which is abroad for us. So I would have a year abroad within my high school studies, which would be interesting and fun, and that would be nice. And then my dad would still stay in Prague for half a year longer, and then just would all go back to Slovakia. That was the original plan. However, I really, really liked the school that I was going to in Prague, and I felt like, given that Prague is so much bigger city and things like that, the school just allowed for much more things. For example, the international baccalaureate, which there is no school for it in back in Košice, which is where I'm from. So we have decided that it's the best thing to do for me to finish off the school. So my dad got officially transferred from Slovakia to the Czech Republic, so he could stay there with me because I was still quite young. And although he was like traveling quite a lot, he would be there at least like sometimes. So I'm not like completely alone, and I can live there with him. So that's how I got stuck in Prague. Once I graduated high school, I really wanted to go abroad for my university studies, which is how I got to the UK. And
So out of
now,
the three, which one's your favorite?
Czech Republic. Oh,
Czech Republic.
Czechoslovakia. I call it Czechoslovakia.
So
Can, can,
you're an
can I cheat?
American that doesn't know
Can I
geography.
cheat?
Got it.
No, well, what I'm saying is, culture is very different to the nation that you're coming from. And whenever I ask people where they are from, I don't really care about where they are actually from, as from which country, but I care about what culture they feel like they fit in with. And for me, when someone asks me that question, I just always say Czechoslovakia. Although one might say it's a non-existent country anymore, our cultures are so similar, and the languages and everything, that I just feel like we are very, very, very closely tied together. And plus, given that I've lived for 14 years in Slovakia, and then I've lived for 5, 6 in the Czech Republic, but those were my teenage years, so those were the years that really count. I kind of feel like the two cultures just blended within me so much. So I like the cultures and the countries the same, because my family is from Slovakia, but my boyfriend is Czech and his part of family is Czech. And I kind of feel like a part of that family too. So half my family is here, half my family is there, half my culture is from here, and half is from there. So I just kind of feel like the best choice is Czechoslovakia.
All right, all right. So we're just about getting to the half-hour mark, which is where we usually end it off. So with that, what would be kind of like the one thing you would like to end on? It can be something about fair. It can be something
Oh,
inspirational. It can be a tip about how to make better coffee.
a tip about how to make better coffee. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. No, I'll probably go with, this is also part of Faird's culture, but it's something that I've always lived by. And that is, if you like what you're doing, you're just going to do so much better job. So even when you're studying or working or your hobbies or whatever, make sure to try. I know it's not always possible, but make sure to try the thing that you like and get really into it, because you're just going to do a better job. It's going to be less painful, and you're going to have more fun with it. So that's, I think, the most important thing, to just do what you like instead of just doing what you have to.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Hope you have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.